What warrant? I want access to the man's checking accounts. I have reason to believe that Mr. Richards wrote a check that was basically a payoff to Jack Sellers. No, I don't have a witness. I have strong reason to believe. Look, I know this is complicated, but will you just try? Thanks. The DA's office is dragging its feet over giving me access to Harlan Richards' checking accounts.
Big surprise. We've already seen how a big man likes to throw around his weight.
What do you got here?
It's preliminary lab report on Rick's watch. There are powder burns on it.
And those stains were blood.
And Rick's tight, which means he probably...
Rick was in a struggle and somebody fired a gun. And from the intensity of the powder burns, it had to be at close range. That's what it means. And that's all it means. Right now.
He sees it as my wanting to take credit away from him for Capital Oasis, when really all I'm trying to do is help.
Well, I can understand how difficult that might be to make clear.
Honey, he's so caught up in trying to make this resort successful that he doesn't realize what kind of stress he's putting on his marriage. Does he have to lose Julia to find out?
Maybe they can handle it.
I doubt it very much. Julia's totally opposed to what he's doing. She's even working with that Nichols character.
Well, I've heard Dash Nichols speak. I think what he says makes a lot of sense.
Well, you are entitled to your opinion. I don't want to get into echo politics with you now. I just need your help.
Well, pleading your case to Mason?
No, in saving a marriage.
And what makes you think that I should be involved?
Oh, sweetheart, come on. You and Cruz, you have a wonderful marriage. Mason sees that. He knows that. He's not going to have me, who's had all these marriages, dispense marital tips to him. He sees what you have. He would be grateful for any advice you could give him.
Are we talking about the same guy here? Kind of tall, blonde, has a huge vocabulary and an attitude to match?
Well, only you can melt that attitude, darling. You want to help or not?
Hi. Hey, Brandon, your grandpa's here.
Oh, it's a good... Has Cruz called? No, he hasn't, but I'm sure he'll call the minute he hears something.
Yeah, of course he will.
Yeah.
Carmen, I told Cruz I'll do everything I can. All my resources are at his disposal to find Rick.
Thank you, Cece. I didn't mean to interrupt the two of you, but my beautiful grandchildren were starting to yawn on the beach.
Oh, no. I think that's because they were up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock. Okay, come on, you guys. Let's go to the kitchen, have some cookies.
Some cookies.
Then we'll go upstairs and count the sheep.
Well, I can do that. You don't have to.
No, please, I want to, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. You want some cookies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go to the kitchen and get them.
See you later.
Come on.
Poor woman.
Yeah, she's been going through a lot.
These kids are growing too fast.
Well, I keep telling them to slow down, but they don't listen to me.
Seems like only yesterday Adriana was born. Time goes by so fast it scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, time's a precious thing. Much too precious to waste.
Draft in here. You're awfully chilly all of a sudden.
Oh, well, you're the one who controls the heat, Daddy.
All right, baby, you got something to say. Why don't you say it?
Have a seat.
Thank you.
I think you and Mother should be together.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when is this a one-way street?
Daddy, you're flaunting another woman in front of her face when she comes over to try to make things better?
I wasn't flaunting anything. I was having a drink with that woman. Your mother and I are divorced. She wanted the divorce. I didn't want it. She got it. I'm not going to sit around and mope on what should have been. Now, if your mother wants to make things better, why the hell didn't she say so?
Oh, she's going to say something in front of a woman who's sitting there in her house with you at night?
She could have called me later.
You could have called her later.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I did everything in the world I could to reconcile with your mother. I even financed a movie to make her a movie star.
Oh, yeah, right, and that was a wonderfully romantic gesture, if I must say so myself.
It is not my fault, and it was not my fault that your mother cannot make up her mind whether she wants to be together with me or not. I don't plan to grow old waiting.
You know, I don't understand why this is such a matter of pride between the two of you. I mean, you look me in the eyes and you tell me that you weren't upset when Mama walked in and you were with another woman in her house?
I'm looking you in the eye, and I was not upset when your mother
Daddy.
Okay, of course I was upset. All the nights I spent in that house alone. All the nights. The one night I've got a woman there, your mother happens to walk in. I couldn't believe it. Well, now that you know what bothered me, you know that I wasn't flaunting it.
Okay, Danny, you said that time is a precious thing to waste. Why don't you just...
Darling, I can't. I really can't do it. Look, I know it upsets you. It upsets me, too. But your mother hasn't made things easy for me. And she hasn't given me one reason, not one reason, to make it easier for her.
So you don't think that...
I think that Rick was shot. I mean, you got blood stains, you got powder burns. That means he was shot, probably at close range, obviously. Doesn't mean he was killed. I want you to check out every hospital within a 20-mile radius of that rental car agency. If anybody has checked a gunshot wound recently, I want to hear about
Right,
it.
I already did that.
Do it again.
Yes.
Michael.
Forget it.
No, it isn't.
I understand.
I didn't mean to blow my stack at you. I'm sorry. I'm just having a hard time processing this. What do you think this means? So, how did this watch come... Why was the watch left in the car?
Well, I figure that whoever attacked him, he fought and was pulled off his wrist.
That means that had to have happened after the gunshot, right? If he was fighting, if he was struggling?
Right, so he probably wasn't shot fatally.
Exactly. If he had some fight left in him, chances are he's okay.
Let me double check the hospital.
I'd appreciate it. Hold on a second, will you? Yeah. What do you got, Danny? Okay, we'll have it analyzed immediately and call me. Thanks.
What do we got now?
Maybe we better talk with the people at the rental agency again about the blonde woman who paid for the car. Danny just found a strand of blonde hair around the stem of the watch.
Well, you think he was struggling with a woman?
Could have been. Michael, will you do me one more favor? Take this cassette down to Forsyth, have him analyze it. Maybe he can come up with some idea where Rick was when he reported it. If we can find out where he actually was when he saw Richards write that check to Jack Sellers, we might have something.
All right, I'll get rid of him. What's wrong? I think we're finally getting somewhere.
Yeah, but why so many clues all at once? See,
How's the investigation going?
well, we may have a lead finally, looks like.
Great news. That's great. Listen, remember, if you need any of my security men, if you have to hire a private detective or an army of private detectives,
I'll call you immediately. I appreciate the offer, thanks.
Daddy, are you going to think about what we talked about?
Only if you think about talking to Mason.
Deal.
Okay. Talk to you both soon.
Yeah, so long.
Business?
Yeah, I guess. Thanks.
You okay?
Yeah, more or less.
So what's this about a lead?
Well, we got one, but I'm not sure I like the direction it's pointing.
What happened?
It seems all but certain that Rick was shot.
Oh, my God, no.
Oh, Mama, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to hear that.
Then you...
No, I don't
You
think
mean that
anything
Rick-
bad. We have strong evidence that it wasn't a mortal wound. I've got officers checking all the hospitals and clinics in the area just in case, but people survive gunshot wounds all the time, so... Debemos mantener la esperanza, Mama.
Ay, sí, mijo, sí. I have faith that you will find your brother and that I'll have my sons back with me again.
Yeah, I think so. It's just a matter of time. A matter of being patient.
Hello? Yes, hold on 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's Officer Calloway.
Yeah, Charlie, you come up with anything? Where is she? I'll be right there. Yeah, thanks.
Is it about Rick?
No, I just have to question this one woman informally. Her name is Gretchen Richards, and
Kitty, is this about her husband?
Yeah. Mama, please don't worry. Okay?
Okay.
I know he's all right. I can feel it, so don't worry. I'll be back before lunch.
Listen, Daddy knows Harlan Richards.
But they're not exactly close friends. Richards has already accused me of doing Cece's dirty work for him, and I need to take a more roundabout way of getting to him.
Well, Gretchen's one tough customer.
Yeah, but she has a weak spot. Everybody does. I'll find hers.
I see. No, there's no need to rush it. No, there's no need to bother Harland with it either. Fine. I'll call you back then. Bye.
Ms. Richards.
Good morning, Inspector.
Hi.
Any luck finding your brother?
Not yet, but we have turned up several new leads.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Excuse me.
Excuse me, but I came here to talk to you about those leads.
To me? Why?
Well, I thought you might be of some help.
Well, I can't imagine why.
Your husband is a business associate, a man by the name of Jack Sellers. Do you know him?
Never heard of the man. But like I told you before, I don't take much interest in Harlan's business.
Yeah, you said that. Are you sure that you can't place a Jack Sellers? I was under the impression that he and your husband worked very closely together. I assumed he must have had dinner at your house on more than one occasion.
Well, like I said, I've never heard of an Inspector.
Well, perhaps you'll recognize him.
I've never seen him before.
You know, Ms. Richards, your husband seems...
Excuse me. Look, if you have some questions about Harlan's business associates, I suggest you talk to him about it.
Excuse me, Mrs. Richards? Someone left this for you.
So, if you're finished, I actually have some things to do.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I am finished for the time being, but rest assured I will be in touch.
I promise I'll get out of your way before Cruz gets home.
You're not in the way.
Or maybe I can take the kids back down to the beach. That way the two of you can be alone.
Carmen, you're not in the way. Listen, why don't you sit down for a minute?
Oh, no, you don't want to sit down when Cruz gets home.
Carmen, he's not going to be here for a long while, and I would love to sit down with you for a minute.
Okay.
You know, I've been meaning to tell you how much I admire your strength.
What strength? I'm a wreck.
No, you're not. You've been handling this very well. I don't think I could have handled it as well.
I'm not handling anything. I'm trying to keep us busy so I don't think about Rick. But of course that's impossible because all I do is think about Rick, no matter how hard I'm working. I look at Chip, and I see Rick when he was that age. I can see it so clearly. I'm surprised you really thought I was so strong.
I did. No, I still do. I do.
Cruz, the strong one, and he's such a pragmatist. He can never accept anything until he sees it with his own eyes.
Are you talking about Rick?
Cruz has convinced himself that his brother is still alive. You can see it in his eyes. Oh, maybe he's managed to convince me too.
Well, what's so wrong with that, Carmen?
I don't want to give up, you know that. You can never believe that your child is gone. But I keep thinking that maybe Cruz and I are just kidding ourselves, that it's time we face the fact that we might never see Rick again.
No.
The more we convince ourselves that Rick is still alive, the harder it will be when we find out that he's not.
You know, there was a time when I wasn't sure if Cruz was alive. And this certain someone said to me, well, what do you feel in your heart? If you love him that much, then you must feel something in your heart about whether he's alive or not. So what do you feel in your heart, Carmen?
Just hope that my son's alive.
Well, hang on to your hope. I really believe that hope can make things happen.
Come on in.
Back? Oh, how's it going?
Hey, Cruz. What can I do for you?
Well, actually, I was hoping you could answer a couple of questions for me about a lady. The one who just left.
Talk to me about a lady that just left my place.
If it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
Great.
Would you like a beer?
No, thanks. Actually, Mac, what I want to get at here, it might get a little personal.
Is it for the record?
No. I am investigating my brother's disappearance right now, but whatever you tell me will be between just the two of us. I think I already know the answer, but I need to find out exactly how close you are to Gretchen Richards.
Cruz, that's none of your business. And I don't see what it has to do with your brother's disappearance.
Well, I realize it may seem like it's none of my business, but if you'll bear with me, I wouldn't ask if it weren't really important.
What would Gretchen have to do with your brother's disappearance?
Rick was working for Harland Richards when he dropped out of sight. Now, all the evidence I have as to what might happen to him, every single lead I've been able to come up with, it all points back to Harland Richards.
Gretchen has nothing to do with her husband's business. As a matter of fact, she doesn't have much to do with her husband either.
Nevertheless, she is his wife, and every time I talk to the man, I get nowhere. I know in my gut that he's responsible for whatever happened to my brother. Now, I need somebody to help me prove it.
Are you asking me to spy on him?
I'm just saying that anything you could find out about him would be deeply appreciated.
Man, I know you're desperate to find your brother, but I can't do it. I can't.
Mac, every angle I've tried, every trick in the book, I can't get to the guy.
Gretchen could get into too much trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Harlan Richards. It could be dangerous.
What if I could guarantee you that no harm will come to Gretchen?
You do that, and I'll think about it.
They walked down to the beach again.
She okay?
She's afraid.
She's not the only one.
You know, I know that you think it's not a good idea to tell her that, but I think you should tell her.
Why?
Because she needs to know that it's okay to be scared. I mean, she's feeling really guilty for not being stronger.
All right, I'll go down to the beach after lunch and talk to her.
I'm sure that's for you.
I got no appetite.
Love you.
Me too. Hey, any news?
I ran the second hospital check. There's been no reported gunshot wounds from anybody even close to Rick's
Oh,
description.
Lord. Maybe we should increase the radius to something like 30 miles.
I already tried 40.
What about the lab report on the hair?
Here we go. Yeah, this is something interesting. It's not hair, it's Dynel. The woman we're looking for is wearing a blonde wig.